Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Tuesday, March the 5th, 2024. I'm telling you, just as soon as you declare that it's safe to get back in the water, you get a really bizarre move. Now, today, they're pinning it on, at least some of the reports that I read, the ISM services index came out at 10 o'clock. And it was pretty much right off of that they started to really hit the market pretty hard. And it pretty much lasted right up into the bell. And then after the bell, it was like, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. Now, I took a little while, but here's what I'm coming up with. At one point, I had thought, okay, we are really working, putting in 5 waves down off of that high here in the S&P at 51.58 or 55, whichever that level was. I'll just double check right now. 51.57. Actually, it was almost 51.58, so right there. That was the high. There you go. In any case, thinking that, okay, that could have completed the whole ticket, the whole minute wave 5, and then minor wave 5, intermediate wave C, primary wave B. It really had that feel as they were pulling this thing lower today and the way they were hitting it. Now, the S&P itself took a little bit of time before it actually started to break below 5,100. And when it did, kind of caught some selling pressure and dropped to the low, which in retrospect to how I'm measuring it in terms of the entire move up from the bottom of minute wave 4 to that high, which is 49.59 to 51.57, 58, was not even, it was almost 50%, a 50% retracement. Now, so this is what I'm really coming up with. I do think we did 5 waves up. And I do believe it probably completed a C wave. But I'm shifting everything down a degree. And a couple of reasons. There's still a lot of April to do. There's still what they are really, looking at for the balance of the month of March. Now, they could be all get upset and not happen. But let me kind of go through what I'm looking at here. We're already working a diagonal triangle for minor wave 5. And then I started to look and I thought, okay, could minute wave 5 produce its own diagonal? And it would come in the same thing. It would be an ABC. Now, it's presenting its challenges for the following reason. Even though wave A still is a zigzag, it's like, okay, we're going to walk this through. Wave A clean zigzag, wave C was a good zigzag, but I actually was thinking we get a 4 and we get a cleaner 5. And so not going to happen, obviously. So if I leave it as such, this is minuet wave A of minute wave 5. Then we start to come down. And if I drop this down, that was the hourly chart. Let me drop this down to the 15-minute chart. We'll take a look at the insides of the beast. And I'm going to open this so that we can see in here. So we kind of came down. So it could be A, B. And then we have 1, 2, 3, but it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, putting in a C wave, giving us a B. Or here's my, I don't even want to call it an alternate because both really have equal power here. It could be nothing that they turn this thing around and immediately just kill it, walk it straight back down. And in that case, this all gets reversed. Not that I'm going to just be flipping and flopping here. I'm really not. But it is always going to be the market that dictates, of course, that it dictates what's really going on. Now, we have seen, the last one was right here at minute wave 4, that it just shot to the moon in the next one. So similar pattern where we not as complex as this 4 or even this B wave, but even here we got this shot to the moon. We got a shot to the moon. And if they continue it as we begin in Globex and they carry it through overnight, then it's going to be more than likely we're doing a C wave up. So it gets a little tricky. So this are all the fibs if a B wave is not done. And we have a little bit more downside and they do walk it back down. Or either way, if we do want to call this wave A and this is wave B, and then we're going to get 5 waves up. If this is a 5 and it's all done, then this could be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we swing back down and put in that 5th, and that would give more weight to this being finished. Those are the two things I'm presenting. So the way I'm leaving it right now under this particular count is suggesting that as this launched, they will continue. It was so bizarre and even stronger. And to tell you the truth, it's the same stocks. It truly is the same stocks. They come back in on NVIDIA. They had NVIDIA down $10 or $11. And then Torch gets into that bell. And then after the bell, they just run that stock. I mean, they closed it up 7. But they brought it up from like 845 or 842 down into that area. And they run it up into the bell. And now it's up another 3 after. So it just kind of gets nuts. And other ones that they kind of started to go after, not that they didn't totally, but Microsoft are trading closer to 400. This one not as bad, but they're bidding it up after. Meta bidding it up after. Meta was down pretty heavy too. AMD was down right along with NVIDIA. Okay, buy it right back and bid it up. So I'm thinking, okay, you're just going to keep going. So whatever this was almost, for whatever reason, today in the S&P and the NASDAQ and the spiders and the Qs, whatever the deal was, something needed to be monetized and they pushed it down. They squeezed. It was a gamma. It was a gamma squeeze. And when it was done, lift, pressure off, bounce, just go. Now that's also a possibility. So again, remember we talked about yesterday, and I was talking about the fact that it is not as clear anymore as to what really is the derivative and what's the underlying. When the quote unquote derivatives, i.e. the options, are in total control of where that market's going to trade, instead of it being the underlying that's going to dictate where the option is going to trade. It's kind of the roles have reversed a little bit, and so we just have to be able to trade with it. Now, as far as trading, it was not a bad day. Got to say, it was not a bad day. There was plenty to do, and it truly didn't necessarily present its challenges once it started to break down and it was breaking support levels that needed to hold if we were going to see an additional rally, putting in a slight new high above 51.58. But that didn't come in. So it became more clear. And you just had to kind of catch the shorts and ride them down a little bit. So a little bit easier day, even on the swing trading basis. Now, here's how I'm going to leave this with the S&P. We got 7 minutes before Globex begins. We can see that they're basically bringing it just a little bit higher than where they closed it. Okay. Same with the NASDAQ. Pretty much the NASDAQ, they think they're going to try to get it in unchanged. We'll see how far that all goes. So if they swing it back lower and they produce a new low below 5,065, then it still could be putting in the bottom for a C wave and putting a B underneath. But if it starts to continue to break down below 50.34, and then heading for 5,000, then we're looking at this whole thing coming off that high as turning into 5. And it's going to put the pressure on this being the completion point. That is going to be pretty wild. So right now I'm going with if they're going to continue to bring it up. If anything, they come down, they complete the ABC, put the B there, and rally it back again. So obviously, as you can see, what they were doing today, they're not going to walk away. Now, also today was Tuesday. So the first Tuesday in March. Therefore, 401k, IRA money coming into the market. We did see some of it last week. Today was the big day for it. And it gets all put in. Now, obviously, maybe there was a whole bunch that's like, get me out. I'm going to take my profit. And then there was a whole bunch put me back in, or, the buyers stepped in. So a couple of reasons why I think we got what we got. But that's how I'm going to leave it here. So the expectation then would be that we need to now measure somehow where this guy's going to go. And this is the big A wave. So again, I'm going to run it. Now this would just be, I'm just going to take this one away as it gets real squirrely if I don't. And I'm going to put this on, which we're now looking for the C wave. Come on. If indeed this low holds, where do we come in? There's your 618, 51.85. That's the first marker. The 100% is at 52.61. I know this is mind blowing, right? You're like, wait a minute, Michael. We just lost, dropped pretty strong today. What are you talking about? Look where the NASDAQ finished. Look where the S&P finished after being down. All right. The NASDAQ being down 283, whatever it was. The Dow closing down 400. They're going to bring it back up. It's all on what they're going to decide they're going to play and how they're going to play it and what they're going to buy and what they're going to sell. So, equality, 52.61. Takes us right through that 382. We got a lot up in here. Now, before you get mad at me and you start, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, blah, 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 I am just giving you what the technical picture allows for. Again, if it's all done, we're going to know it's got to flip and turn lower and again start to break down below 5,000. It's got to complete this 5 down, because this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Didn't really go up all that much more. But, it's got about 18 points it can go up, right? 9, 25, 26. That's it. Then it's crossing. Then this stays in place, and we're on the way back up to here. Over in the NASDAQ, what a beast. Same deal, folks, same deal. I just brought it all down a degree. And I'm not wishy-washy and I'm not crazy. But if they're going to turn and buy this all back, as we have seen them do previously, here, after go down, break the back, make it look like it's something that else, and we're going to go much further, and then stop on a dime and just climb, and then just climb. This rally, this low was 17,836. 17,870. Was that what it is? Let me just open this up. She still drives me crazy. Right, that one. 17,832. This high was 17,968. So basically, this is, let's take a peek. So at 3:30 to 5 o'clock, the market tacked on. So in an hour and a half, after the market closed, tacked on 135 points. Just buy it. So here's my call. We're looking at, I pulled everything back in, and let me just kind of pull this back over like that, where we have the A, still the A, a B, and a C, but I'm pulling it down a degree and sticking the minuet wave A above it. And this would be minuet wave B. Now, it came down in between the 50 and the 62% retracement. Fair. That's in line. So there's good reason to think it's like, okay, ABC, put the B, done, and we're now going to rally. Now, let's see what damage the NASDAQ can do should that be the case. Taking off the support, I'm going to go back and put, not that one. Let's try it again. And go back up to here. Why is that? Because I'm putting up the extension and there's no extension. It is just retracement. All right, right there. Actually, no. Boy, you can tell what kind of day it's been. I apologize. I just had that up there. I'll get it together. Come on, there. And then back down to here. And it should be 38. So let me fix that one. 38.50. Say okay. And here we are. 618, 18,459. Equality, 18,843. And guess where we're up against? The upper trend line. You always wonder, how is it going to get up there? How is it going to get up there? So the cluster remains a cluster, a little bit different, but remains a cluster. C wave would still be putting in a new high above the A, but it would be very muted because we'd definitely be looking for it to come up here and equal the A wave. So those be the numbers. What else could it be? Same deal. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, one more down. Or it's an A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. Put a B on it, and we just keep rallying. And we are open and basically pulling back a little bit, but nothing too earth-shattering just right at the moment. And as we know, they believe that these now stop trading, or they might be trading for a little. Yeah, they trade for a little while. And that's where I'm going to leave it for right now. It just is so strange. I just got to let for the market. We got both sides, and we'll play accordingly. And let me go here and go over here, and let me pull up and see what comes in for tomorrow. On Wednesday, we have ADP employment. Fed Chair Powell begins to testify to Congress. So at 8:15 a.m. ADP Employment, 10 a.m. we have Powell testifying before Congress and U.S. Wholesale Inventories. And also at 10 a.m. we have job openings. Where they're coming from, I'm not really sure, but we got job openings. And then Fed Beige book at 2 p.m. Eastern. We used to really depend on that one for something, but they don't really. And that's it for tomorrow. And so we will be back tomorrow after market. We'll see what it wants to do. And so that's going to be it for today. Next update will be on Wednesday, March the 6th.